So my brain is both fascinated and a bit melted after that. I guess this is sort of a sequel to a film you brought here a few years ago that brought into the whole LIGO project, and
It is. But first, I just want to thank you and Shira for a great film festival.
Oh, thank
Since
you.
this was the last documentary session, I've seen so many great festivals, and Paul worked so hard to put this festival together, and I just want to thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
So it is. So I will admit this to you, Paul, but please don't tell anyone else. It's been an obsession of mine because I first interviewed Nergis in 2015. I've been working on this since 2015, and the film that Paul referred to, LIGO, is a feature documentary that was shown here 4 years ago. So I've been working on this project for 11 years. And I first interviewed Nergis for the first documentary in 2015, and she mentioned squeezing, and it was sort of like undeveloped, but it was so interesting. And then I began talking to people, and and I didn't know enough about it, but I just thought, isn't this really something? And actually breaking the quantum limit is a huge thing. It's not just an advance for LIGO, because this quantum limit applies to quantum computing, quantum encryption, and any measurement in the quantum world, which is only going to get, bigger than AI in the future. And while the instrumentation, for example, wouldn't apply to quantum computers, the theory does, and they'll figure out their own way of increasing their sensitivity. In any event, I interviewed Maggie Say in 2016, and it was interesting because I interviewed her in their squeezing lab at MIT, which is a great thing. But I could not get her to describe squeezing in a way that you and I could understand. I mean, I went around and around with her, and you saw how good she is and how smart she is, but she just couldn't explain it. And so afterwards, when we were taking off her microphone and such, she said, Les, I'm so sorry. I understand the math, and I'm so sorry I just couldn't explain it. And I had a really hard time, even one of the Nobel Prize winners, not Kip, because he's great, but one of the, nobody could explain this to me in terms that I felt I could use to make a film. So I did become obsessed with it. And, I spent 3 months working with Peter Salson, whom I thanked at the end there, and he was one of the founders of LIGO, and he had just retired as the head of the LIGO program at Syracuse. And we spent 3 months, he was working with me on the narration script, and I could write an article, a humor article on our back and forth over that 3 months, because he disabused me of all of my classical physics misconceptions, which I think, our Egyptian friend would understand. So anyway, I really did. I became obsessed with trying to figure it out, and I hope I've succeeded. I would like to just change the subject for a moment and talk about, I would offer this to you as a political film, not a particle physics film, which it is. We're in the United States, we're experiencing a war on science, and a war on women, and a war on people of color. And the thing that attracted me to LIGO in the beginning, in 2015, when I was first invited to make the documentary, was the ruthless quest for search that we all understand science is devoted to, but I felt it was important at that moment, when Trump had come down the golden staircase and told his first lie. I thought it was important to do something which gave people a sense of, the specificity of climate change science is as specific as the specificity of quantum physics, the specificity, the exactitude of disease research or vaccine research is as specific as quantum physics research. And I wanted in these films to portray that and to show that. And then it turned out in Squeezing, because Nergis became, I mean, Nergis is an amazing person. I'll just talk about her briefly. She's from Pakistan, and she won a MacArthur Fellowship in 2010 for something else. So they spent, it was the most expensive National Science Foundation project ever. And they built these two huge detectors. And when they turned them on, they couldn't get the laser light to be aligned so that it would actually work. And Nergis was a postdoc at Caltech at that time. She'd gotten her PhD at MIT. And she solved the problem of how to align it and figured out the instrumentation that they would need. And then she turned her attention to this. And she created her group at MIT and mostly hired women in her group, so that in this story of Squeezing, at least as it was done in the United States, I could feature all of these amazing women who were responsible for this breakthrough, along with Kip and his group. And I just thought, so I thought this film, I wanted to make this film, for that reason as well.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I guess my other question would be, like, now that they've been able to, I guess, measure actual quantum mechanics, what implications does that have for the future of science and technology and human life?
I mean, for them,
for us,
so they had gotten to the point where they had achieved this sensitivity to make a Nobel Prize-winning detection of two black holes. I happened to be with my crew at the observatory in Louisiana on the day that the detection came in, so I would just note that. But that's in the film LIGO, which you generously showed in 2022. I've sort of forgotten my line of thought.
Well, actually, like, if you could answer my specific question.
In terms of
what's it going to look like now that?
So they knew that once they had achieved that level, that they were going to run into this barricade, and it wasn't like Mount Everest that they would have to climb over. It was a barricade, and it's a barricade for quantum computing and everything else in our quantum mechanics world, and now they're able to. They've broken through it, so they're going to be able to detect events, to the end of the universe, and ultimately, they don't have the technology with these detectors is not strong enough, but the ultimate, sort of golden mean of this is to detect the Big Bang and to understand, because we understand, the Big Bang is described in theory, but we have no, really no experimental evidence of the Big Bang. But this breakthrough will lead to that probably in 10 years when the next generation comes about. So ultimately, in that regard, it simply allows them now to make detections to the end of the universe. And what they're learning in terms of how does it apply to our world, they're learning things about the evolution of the universe that people had no idea about before their first detection in 2015. And then the instrumentation is now spreading, out into the quantum physics industry. Maggie Say, again, who I referred to earlier, is no longer with LIGO. She's working as a quantum physics engineer at a company in Boston that's doing something. She couldn't tell me what it was, but that's doing something with this technology, in a measurement business capacity or industrial capacity. So it has broad implications.
Well, amazing to it's just, I guess, when you talk about, war on science, or part of the war on science is just that we're not exposed to it. I feel like Einstein was kind of a superstar in his time, and we're not even aware of these breakthroughs that are coming through unless you're kind of specialized in the field. And so thank you so much for breaking it down for us and showing us these incredible great breakthroughs that are happening right now.
Thank you for showing that.
like keep going with your obsession. I can't wait to see what else you can illuminate for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being with us.